Hi Leo, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of February. We ended the year of 2020 with a whole different note to the beginning of the year because 2020 began with Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto transiting in the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, bringing down structures in our lives on a mass level. Now, for you, that happened in the house of work and habits and daily routine. And at the end of 2020, both Saturn and Jupiter exited the sign of Capricorn and entered the sign of Aquarius and met up at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius on December 21st, 2020. And this brought in a whole new cycle of beginnings. And for you, this occurred in the house of relationships and partnerships. And Saturn is going to be occupying this house until March 7th of 2023. So relationships are a huge focus for you. And Aquarius itself is a sign very much associated with community and connections and friendships and acquaintances, and also seeking enlightenment. And for you, it's a time to meet all sorts of people, to network, to connect, and to build community. Now, at the end of January, Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And this gives you a preview of what the next couple of years are going to be about, minus a couple of degrees and really a few weeks of the whole Saturn and Aquarius tail. So pay attention to what comes up this month and next month around relationships and partnerships. Saturn is asking you to really reevaluate your relationships, whether it's friendships, romantic partnerships, business relationships. It's a time of commitment, but if partnerships are not resonating at the same vibration, it's really a time of assessing who does and who doesn't, and building your tribe in a different way. If you're single, it's an excellent time for meeting people in the next couple of years, and it's an excellent time for existing partnerships to commit further. On February 1st, Venus is going to enter Aquarius and enter your house of relationships, where it'll transit until February 25th. This is excellent for romance, for partnering on all levels. On that date, the sun is going to square Mars in the sky, and that could be friction around business relationships potentially, because Mars is now transiting in your house of career until March 3rd, which means that professional relationships and being really busy are going to be very much a theme in your life as well. On February 6th, Venus makes a few difficult aspects. So it's going to meet up with Saturn, which can be restrictive and challenging, and that could be, difficulties in your relationships. Later in the day, it's going to sextile Chiron, the wounded healer, and that could be an aspect of healing, but I feel because that date makes a lot of challenging influences with Venus, it's probably going to emphasize the wounds more in relationships. And later in the day, Venus is going to square Uranus, which could be unpredictable partnership situations. Partnerships can come in out of the blue, but I would say it's more about chaos. And Uranus is transiting in your house of career. So again, there could be friction or strife with professional partnerships on that date. On the 9th of February, Saturn is going to sextile to Chiron, the wounded healer. And that's really nice energy around structuring your partnerships and finding, some healing in that energy. On the 11th of February, there's going to be a magical new moon that takes place in your house of relationships. On that date, both Venus and Jupiter, which are the benefics of the zodiac, meet up at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of relationships, and that's very auspicious and romantic and prosperous around romance and business relationships and just feeling good. The new moon itself takes place at 2:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 23 degrees and 17 minutes of Aquarius. This excellent new moon for setting intentions about anything in your life, but particularly around relationships. And in this new moon, Venus and Jupiter are in harmony. Venus is conjunct Mercury, which is a very compassionate and creative energy. Mercury is conjunct the new moon, which is beckoning you to seek knowledge. And Saturn and Jupiter are still conjunct, asking us all to structure our vision. So definitely do the law of abundance and set intentions on that new moon. On the 12th or 13th of February, depending on where you live, Mercury is meeting up with Venus, which is a very creative and kind energy. And that happens at 11:48 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 12th and at 2:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 13th. Great energy for connecting. And on Valentine's Day, Jupiter and Mercury are meeting up in the sky, which is very manifesting energy, excellent for communication. Again, this all occurs in your house of relationships. So the middle of the month has some very good energy. On the 17th, however, that's a difficult day. So we've got the 12th through the 14th, lovely, 11th through the 14th with lovely energy. On the 17th, we have Saturn forming the first of 3 squares to Uranus, and they are both the rulers of Aquarius. Saturn is the planet of restrictions and limitations and rules Aquarius in ancient astrology. Uranus is the planet of upheaval and brilliance and is the modern ruler of Aquarius. And the two squared each other in the sky in June of 1999 through May of 2000. And so it doesn't happen that frequently. And Saturn is limitations and Uranus is freedom. So they don't work very well synergistically. So that's a difficult growing pain for all of us. So we're going to be dealing with that again in June and December of this year. So we get 3 hits of it. So kind of laying low and working with that energy and what it brings for you. On the 18th of February, the sun enters the sign of Pisces, and it's transiting in your house of death and rebirth and regeneration and healing, and it'll be transiting there until March 21st. On February 20th, Mercury stations direct at 11 degrees and 1 minute of Aquarius in your house of relationships. I would imagine that this first couple of months of the year brings back old acquaintances, old lovers, old friends, old co-workers, because Mercury is going to be in this house for a few months for you. So Mercury direct helps us all. On the 25th of February, Venus enters the sign of Pisces, where it'll transit for a few weeks in your house of money and financial partnerships and healing and transformative work. It can be very sexy and intimate. It can be excellent around professional relationships. On the 26th of February, Jupiter trines the north node of destiny. Jupiter's in your house of relationships, and it's trining the north node in Gemini. So excellent for connecting, for professional and relationship opportunities. On the 27th of February, we have a difficult full moon that takes place at 8 degrees and 57 minutes of Virgo in your 12th house of endings at 3:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this sets off the lunar eclipse that took place on November 30th at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of Gemini. So pay attention to what comes up from the last few months you've been working with or releasing since that lunar eclipse occurred. I wish you a lot of luck, a lot of partnering and relationship opportunities, and a lot of work ahead with Mars transiting in your house of career. Good luck. Take care.